Garden Piper, how you doing? Hope you're having a good weekend. Just gonna wait for a few more people coming in. Over the crud. Yeah, we're getting there. Hey Mark, how you doing? Yeah, we're definitely over the worst of it. The head cold and the sort of stuffiness and congestion and all of that has mostly gone. I would say it's about 80-85% gone. Hi John, how you doing? I still haven't had a smoke. I kind of reserved this evening to have my first smoke since it all started. It's been since I think Thursday last week. Sorry, a week and a half ago. A week and a bit ago. Since I've had anything at all to smoke. The funny thing is, hey Charlie, how you doing? The funny thing is that it was kind of almost like a repeat performance of the last time I had COVID back in March 2020, which was like the first wave. At the time though, I had kind of slight differences, but almost a repeat performance. During that one, I was kind of basically stuck to my armchair downstairs. I couldn't move. My balance was funny, and the head was kind of in a weird place. I mean, I had headaches and dizziness and all that kind of stuff, but I just found like it was almost like I had vertigo all the time. Hey, Bull Moose. Whereas this time I didn't have that. I was able to walk around freely, move around freely. I didn't have any problems with that. This time the problem was for the first 2 or 3 days I had pounding headaches and just horrible sort of pain behind my nose and behind my eyes. Hey Andrew, how you doing? Just behind my face, basically, there was a lot of pain, a lot of congestion, and a lot of tingling in my head. It was just, I really just felt horrible. And there was a little bit of coughing going on, but not a huge amount. But the problem that I had was the congestion. Hey Charles. And as I mentioned in one of my... hey Andy, I can't know for sure, but probably when I was working at a wedding or something like that. The problem that I had was that I had a lot of sort of sticky mucus, and not wanting to make anybody feel sick or anything. But the difficulty I had is that when it was coming up, it was like half up, half down, and it was sticking in my throat, and I was choking on it. And one time I had a very scary episode where it stuck and I couldn't breathe. It literally completely blocked my trachea, my windpipe, and that terrified me. It really did. Hey Daniel, Jack. So I was downstairs on the couch, and I did try to clear it. I couldn't. It stuck fast. I couldn't breathe. I ran up the stairs and then tried to wake up my wife. All that probably took, I don't know, 20-30 seconds. In all that time I hadn't had a single breath, and if you're not planning on it and you don't deep breathe beforehand, 30 seconds is a long time. Hey Boris, long time no see, hope you're well. So it was a very scary moment, and I managed to sort of clear it a little bit, breathed a bit, and then it blocked again. It was a hairy moment, I can tell you that. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. So I got in touch with the doc, and the doc gave me a medication which they usually give to people who are sort of in advanced issues with their lungs, and it's to help clear and loosen the mucus. It took maybe 2 or 3 days for it to actually work, but it does actually work, and it's a lot looser now and a lot more manageable now. For the first 2 or 3 mornings after that episode, myself and my wife were very, very careful to manage you know, when you wake up in the morning, even when you're not ill, you have sort of, you know, you got to clear your cobwebs in the morning, especially if you're a smoker. But try and sort of compound that by a factor of 10 or 20, where you've got much more congestion, and you got this. Again, I don't want to be too graphic, but there's a lot of stuff coming up, and that first one in the morning is huge, and it scared me. And for the 2 or 3 days afterwards, until that medication really took effect, I was very nervous. I was scared going to sleep, and I was scared waking up. And so for the first few mornings, my wife made sure, she said, wake me up when you wake up. And she said, have a hot drink. You know, if you have a hot coffee, then obviously you're warming up your whole sort of core temperature, and that hopefully will just sort of ease it a little bit as well. But thankfully now this medication has worked, and it's made a big difference. Charles, I didn't actually go to see the doctor. I didn't want to, I knew if I had to go and wait, you know, I didn't know how long it would take, so I just asked for a phone consultation, which I got the same day, which was pretty awesome. No, maybe it was the next day. It might have been the next day, because it was after hours maybe when it happened. No, it was too early. What day was it when that happened? It might have been Sunday. I'm not sure what the reason was, but by the next day I had the prescription, which was amazing. It might have even been the same day. No, what am I talking about? I had the consultation in the morning. They called me at around 10:30 in the morning, and they said they're sending the prescription straight to. It's all done electronically nowadays, so it goes straight to the chemist, to the pharmacy. My wife went to pick it up around 1-2 p.m. the same day I had the medication, but it did say that it can take time. And when I looked it up online, I did research. It said for some people it can take up to 4 weeks, which did have me worried. But in actual fact, it took 2 or 3 days to really make a difference. And he's given me a month's worth, which I'm very happy about. Black tea and honey, cool. So I'm very relieved, obviously, that I'm over it for the most part. I would say about 80% over it, 85%, and it's going well. What I'm left with now is what I was left with in almost 3 years ago, which was muscular issues. And on Friday and Thursday, my legs muscles were like jelly. And I had that exactly the same last time. For months afterwards, my legs were quite weak. So hopefully, I mean, today I felt actually pretty good in that respect. So I'm hoping it won't be a lasting effect, or being well. So as I say, I haven't had a pipe or a cigar or anything for about 8 or 9 days. And I've decided to gift myself a little post-COVID gift. And I'm keeping the coiled tadpole. This one's staying with me. Haven't smoked it yet. I've put out some OGS. You knew I would. How did you know, Bulmus? Oh well, I guess you saw that it didn't go on their website. I suppose that would have been a hint. You spent 600 quid on a Dyson one, no? Yeah, I guess that's true, Bulmus. That is true. I started on a commission earlier this evening. I didn't feel up to working on Friday. But I've just started on a rosebud, and I'm just making a stem for it. So I've concentrated on making this tonight, and tomorrow I'll concentrate on the pipe itself. It's already drilled, the pipe, where at least the draft hole is drilled. But it was a little bit frustrating because I had to make 3 shank caps. The third one's okay, but the first 2 shattered. It was a faux ivory, which it doesn't turn very well, and on 2 occasions it shattered. I was not very happy. Threw the remnants against the wall, and I screamed. My daughter came running, wanting to know what was going on. But so I decided that I'm not going to carry on with that tonight, and I just focused on the stem. So the stem is looking really nice. It's got a good shape. I have a commissioned Canadian coming up soon. Yeah. Mid-February is what the customer said, so that's due in mid-Feb. The bull cap I've done. The rosebud is what I'm doing now, and the large doubling I've done. Yeah, so it's really just the rosebud that I'm doing now, and then a Canadian, and then I'm up to date. You'd have to send me pictures, Bull Moose, and I can tell you. I'm not big on repairs and things like that. It really depends on what the issue is. Repairs is a really different skill set to pipe making, and I would say that 9 times out of 10 when customers contact me about repairs, I usually send them to the nearest repair guy in where they are. So in America, I always recommend people like Briarville, and here in the UK it would be Mike Billington or Ian Walker of Northern Briars. These guys are absolute experts when it comes to repairs, and they've done it for donkey's years, and they have the machinery for it. I don't. But as I say, it really depends on what it is. So if somebody says, can you make me a new stem for this pipe, then that I could likely do. But where, for instance, you've got a crack in the shank or something like that, where you need to sort of return it and maybe put a band on it and that kind of thing, I don't have the machinery to hold ready-made pipes. You need special material to hold stuff. If you're going to put it on the lathe, you need to have specialized, and they have these sort of old-fashioned lathes where they have sort of vices, and then they can bring the motor up to it. Anyway, it's basically or TPI. I mean, whoever you've got confidence in, you know, that you can use. Yeah, I did a shotgun shell just the other day. I did the bull moose, and that one had a shotgun. Yeah, that one there, that was a commissioned bull moose with a shotgun shell. You can do this with alcohol or anything, but before you start a new pipe, clean it out thoroughly. Even if it comes to you looking clean, there's always a bit of dust here and there, and the same applies with my pipes. Although I do my best to clean them out, but you just have to make sure that it's free of any dust. So it's always, I usually just wet a pipe cleaner so it picks up the dust, but you could use alcohol or whatever. What is the actual problem with it, Bull Moose? What needs sorting, and why haven't you sent it back to Boswell? Well, before I discovered the idea of using honey, I started every pipe without honey. Don't remember how long ago that was, but I can't remember now the last time I didn't do it, because I've been doing it for a long time. Good for you, Charlie. I think you did a video of one of my pipes a while back, and I saw you doing a series on pipes that you've got, which is really nice. I enjoyed watching them. Is it that cold, Andrew? I guess it must be. What I will say is that I don't have my taste. Last time round, I lost completely, and my smell. Whereas now I've got about 20% of my taste and smell, 20 to 30%. So I can still enjoy stuff, but I'm not sure what this pipe's going to be like. Maybe it's a good idea to break in the pipe while I don't have that much taste. I'm not a big fan of breaking in pipes. $18 years ago. Have you always smoked it, or did it sit lying around for a long time not being used? Hey Huli, how you doing? Hope you're well. It sat lying around. But the looseness of the tenon, was that from the beginning or only after you tried picking it up again in the last recent times? Derek, how you doing? Day one. And you bought it from Boswell's direct, or you bought it as an estate pipe? So you should have taken it back, or sent it back. I'm sure they'd have dealt with it. To be honest, I would still do that. Hey Mike, how you doing? You didn't sign it. That is odd. Was it cheaper? Was it a seconds? The draw on this pipe is effortless. And that's with a filter. Well, and you didn't ask him why he hadn't stamped it? It's a bit weird. I reckon if you sent it back to them and told them, explain the situation, that hasn't worked since day one, but you've just never done anything about it, I'm sure that they would deal with it. And there are tricks that you can do. Mike was saying about putting a coating of something on it. Cyanocrylate? No, cyanocrylate? I don't know what that is. But I really don't think you should have to do that. I'm pretty sure that if you sent it back to, or if you got in touch with them, they would tell you to send it back. I'm pretty sure. Why would they? Why would they sort of? It's no skin off their nose. Don't let Briar Blues Mike hear you say super glue. This is my post-COVID gift to myself. Black super glue. Oh, it's super glue, right? I see. Yeah, I'm sure. I'd be really surprised if they refused the possibility of putting it right. Not really getting much flavour off this, I must be honest. Thank you, Hawk. Not a question of bothering them. What's the point of you having the pipe if you can't smoke it? If it's a non-filtered pipe, there are things you can do. I mean, you can warm it up. You can warm the tenon up and sort of what I've done in the past before my days of using filters. Very, very gently warm it up until it's a little bit soft. And then just put it down on the table and give it a gentle push. And what that does is it just compresses it a little bit and fattens it up. But you have to do it with a very, very gentle touch. And again, people like Mike Briar Blues will probably scream against doing that, but I've done that many times and with great success in the days of when I used to smoke without a filter. And it just mushrooms, the top of it mushrooms. And if you do it too much, you can just you can sand it back down again. Yeah, you're right, Andrew. It really depends on how long it takes for me to get my flavour back, my taste back. So I hope it's not too long. I got some cigars in the post the other day. A couple of beautiful Partagas E2s, which I haven't had in years. Hey McPhil, how you doing? Really nice cigars. They're a 54 ring gauge by about 5.5 inches. A nice meaty sized cigar. And I got that from a guy because he wanted some guidance on photography. And there's a guy that I've known for many years, from when I was a kid. And he's more into sort of street style photography, whereas I do a bit of everything. And in the end, I spent quite a bit of time with him on WhatsApp, recorded a lot of the guidance, and I drew some sketches for, when you're doing lighting. So I don't want to bore you, but when I do lighting, I use 3 lights. And nowadays, I used to use studio lights, but I've stopped, and I use off-camera flashes now, all remote controlled. And hey David, how you doing? Hi Sharon, Paul. So I was explaining the ratios between the lighting and all that kind of thing, the output of the different lights, sent him the diagrams and whatnot, and he wanted to know about posing. So I sent him a few of the pictures that I'd taken at various functions and showed him how you group people and that kind of thing. Anyway, so he wants to do a whole bunch of sessions, but he was very appreciative of the time that I'd given him, so he wanted to send me some money. So I told him, no, it's all right, we're friends, you know, I'm quite happy to give you that little help. So he said, well, let me send you a bottle of wine or something. So I said, no, I'm not into that kind of stuff anyway, but if you send me a couple of cigars, that I won't refuse. So, and I was kind of saying that half joking, but he took me on board with that. And he said, yep, absolutely no problem. So he went online straight away. He said he's a man of his word, he's going to organise it immediately. He went online and he sent, the next message I get from him is, which ones do you like? And he starts looking at various. I said, you know what, if you're going to do it, go to GQ Tobaccos and have a look there. I told him, get me any Cuban Robusto sized cigars. And he comes back and he messages me, Partagas E2 okay? I said, yeah, absolutely spot on. Sent me 2 cigars. Which was very nice. And I'm looking forward to having those when I've got some taste back. I've also got a sampler set, Altadis sampler set, I think, of 10 cigars. Super value. And one of the reasons why I went for it is because I've been wanting to try the Monte Cristo White series for a long time. When I first started off smoking non-Cubans, that was one of the first cigars I had, and I really liked it at the time. Quite mild, if I remember correctly. Your daughter's got COVID. How old is she, David? So I'm quite excited to get those. I just hope they don't get nabbed. And I actually ordered them from 4 Noggins this time, which I haven't done in years, literally in years. I haven't ordered anything from them. And I also ordered some tobacco, which somebody recommended as a very sort of pungent vapor, Virginia Perique. I forget what it's called. Blindsman Buff, could it be? No, that's a cigar. She's 13. Well, hopefully that works. She won't get it too heavily. Yeah, I saw the St. Patrick Day pipes last week, but I haven't seen them here in the UK yet. But they look quite good. Cheers, boys. It's John Patton Cool Hand Fluke is the tobacco. I ordered 4 ounces of it. Let's see what it's like. I can't remember who recommended it. It was a comment in one of the videos I did. It might have been one of the lives. Can't remember. And I ordered the Altadis Dominican Master Sampler. And it's insane value for money. So I would suggest anybody interested is to get that. I think it was $57 for 10 cigars. Well, Daniel, I think artisan pipe makers, their pipes are unique anyway. Every single pipe is unique. For factory pipe makers, it's really a marketing thing for them to be able to produce a new line during the course of a year. So you've got the St. Patrick Day, you've got the Christmas pipes, you've got the pipes of the year. You know, some companies do 3 or 4 different lines each year, all in the same shapes, the same, you know, Savinelli do it as well. And it's a way to rehash the same shapes again and again and again, but in different colours, essentially. Yeah, there's still a Christmas pipe on my website which hasn't sold, and it's a beautiful pipe, and it's actually a very low price as well. It's like 170 odd quid. And that'll make somebody an excellent pipe. It's one of my regular shapes that I'm very comfortable with. The bent billiard, sort of brandy billiard, and it'll be a great smoking pipe. What's his name? Bonfiglio, something like that, an Italian carver. He does holiday pipes. I'm smoking Orlik Golden Sliced. Not that I can tell, but that's what I'm smoking. I can't taste it at all. But as I said, I think it's probably a good way to break in the pipe so I don't have to taste the fresh briar, because I can't taste it anyway. The thing about this shape is that it's quite easy, well, it's easier to make it almost like a full bent pipe because of the way the shape is. And you can almost see how that sort of continues down there. So the pipe thing is actually going there, but the draft is going a little bit further in that way so that it doesn't go too near the bottom of the bowl. OGS is sold out on smoking pipes. I haven't bought any for a while. Quite nice. It's a nice tobacco, Daniel. I haven't smoked it in a long time though, but it is a nice tobacco. Well, the 100-gram tins they haven't had for a while. The 50-gram they had left. I'm not a fan so much of the 50 grams Orlik Golden Sliced, so I usually hold out until I can get the 100-gram tins. I'd love to be able to get the 8-ounce tins that they used to do. I don't know if they still do them or not. I haven't seen them in a long time. The last place I saw the 8-ounce tins was on the Danish pipe shop, but even that was 3 or 4 years ago. So I wonder if they still do it. Hi, Jack. Orlik Golden Sliced in an LCS coiled tadpole. Near Acorn. The Pipe Club of London have just released the 2023 club pipe, and that's a Nerup. It's kind of an acorn, kind of shape with a silver band on it. I haven't got mine yet, although John's set it aside for me. I get enough funds to pay for it, basically. Star of the East, yeah. If you search through my channel, there is a three-way test of Esoterica Penzance, Star of the East, and Quiet Nights, all in one video with 3 different pipes, back-to-back test, and it's quite an interesting video that. If I had to give up either one or the other, pipes or cigars, I tell you what, it's a really good question. If I had to give one up, but I would have an unlimited supply of the other, then that would be a difficult question. But if that wasn't the case, and I had to rely on whatever I had, I'd probably have to give up the cigars because they're just too expensive. So I wouldn't be able to keep myself up in cigars, to be honest. Unlimited money, no question. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Because I do really, really like them both. I might still have some quiet nights in one of my Tupperware containers. What kind of time are you doing that, Paul? Faizan, how you doing? Faizan, thank you. I have actually restored a few Petersons. Again, I'll say again, it really depends on what's up with them. And are you in the UK? If you're not in the UK, then it's not really worth messing around with. I don't know, Paul. I'm just asking so that I can publicise it for you. You're in the UK. All right. Well, send me some pictures of the pipe, and if there's let me know if there's anything specific that needs doing, or if you just want it cleaned up and polished up and made to look good. But if there's problems with it, if there's cracks in it and stuff like that, then I need to know, and I'd like to see pictures of it. I would do it in the evening, Paul, when people in the States are kind of settled in front of their computers or screens or whatever. You have my email address, Faizan? Alright, cool. Yeah, you can do it through the website, that's fine. See, using the honey, it already got a cake building up. That's what the honey does. It is very weird smoking a pipe and not getting much flavour from it. Andrew, you said before something about a brand of pipes. Who were you referring to? I didn't catch that. Daniel has a question. Have you ever had a situation where your taste buds have changed and a blend you hated that you loved now you hate? And I guess the question refers vice versa as well. Something that you hated and now you love. I've had that on numerous occasions, but it's been more about the tobacco maturing rather than my taste buds changing. One of the most distinct occasions for me was with mature Virginia, the my own blend from Denmark. When I got that, I really didn't enjoy it at all. It was a very generic, hot and bitey Virginia, straight Virginia. And I had a 100-gram tin, one of those my own blend tins, and I ended up giving away most of that tobacco, but I still had about a third of the tin left. I went back to it about a year, 18 months later, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It was delicious, sweet Virginia tobacco. That sweetness just appeared out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure that was more about aging rather than my palate. So I guess if I smoked a cigar, I might get more out of it because it's a bit more robust sometimes in flavour. But I can't bring myself to do it because it would be such a waste of money to be able to not get the full flavour. But something like, for instance, Blood Red Moon, Cult Blood Red Moon, I used to absolutely love that tobacco. I lived on it. Now, I wouldn't say I hate it. It's just, it doesn't do anything for me anymore. I'll smoke it maybe once or twice a year, if that. But if I'm going to smoke a bowl, and it's going to be an aromatic, I'd much rather it be something that I enjoy, like vanilla roll cake, or Blend 131. I smoked that recently and really enjoyed it. When I first discovered it, I smoked it a lot, and then just went off it. I wouldn't say went off it, but I just went back to smoking regular blends, and I smoke it from time to time. It is, when you compare it to vanilla roll cake, it is still a bit aromatic-y. It's still a little bit artificial, but it's still a good aromatic. Yeah, I'm talking about that one, David, Solani 131. So I still smoke that from time to time, and I smoked it recently and I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, Troy, that's what we've been talking about. I'm actually just recovering from COVID. I had it last week, the whole week. This is my first bowl in about 8-9 days. So I haven't got any, I've got very little taste at the moment. I'm smoking this out of pure dedication, pure altruism. I have no benefit from it at all. The Virginia cream. Cheers, Patrick. I haven't tried Festival yet. I have heard that it's good. I've heard other people say that it's good. An estate pipe, unless you're one of these people who actually prefers a brand new pipe. I know there are people out there who as soon as they smoke a new pipe, it's downhill from there. Their favorite bowl is smoking the first bowl in a pipe. I don't understand that, so I can't really comment on that. To me, it's the opposite. I hate breaking in new pipes. I'd still rather do it rather than smoke an estate pipe, which I will do, but I'd still prefer to break in a pipe myself, even though I don't like it. But by definition, does an estate pipe smoke better than a new pipe? Technically, yes. However, once that new pipe is broken in, it may well smoke better than the estate pipe. Samuel, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. What kind of really makes me really enjoy these pipes as well is there's a little bit of an additional level of pride with these pipes because they're completely hand-shaped. These can't be done on a lathe. It's literally just drilled and nothing else. There's zero shaping done on the lathe. So to get that, to have a really sort of balanced shape is, I think, you know, for me anyway, it makes me very proud anyway. I think on the first one that I did, I think this junction here was a little bit more pronounced, although it is still fairly pronounced, but in the lighting you can't really see it. But I think that the other one was maybe a little bit more pronounced over there. Hey Jeff. Yeah, I've been taking vitamin D, although I haven't taken one today, but I have been taking it. Vitamin D and vitamin C. I would think, really, Daniel, that's more, I mean, for me anyway, other people might have that, but for me, it's more about the tobacco that I smoke during the winter, and therefore I will change to those pipes that I've dedicated to. So for instance, in the winter I might be more prone to smoking Latakia blends, so I'll move across to my Latakia pipes. Although in the last couple of years, it really hasn't happened. I can literally count the amount of Latakia bowls I've had during the winter, on one hand almost. My Latakia pipes are gathering dust. Can you see? Look at that, covered in a film of dust. I mean, that's obviously because it's in this room, but because it's my workshop, but still. Cheers, Andrew. Yeah, absolutely. I don't like to. I mean, I'm very happy making the shapes that I'm comfortable making. So billiards, apples, authors, any derivative of a billiard, if you like. I'm very happy making that. truth be told, I should really do an economy range of those shapes. No frills, no bands, no anything, just straight, regular, basic acrylic stem, and billiards, stacked billiards, Jake Hackett style billiards, they're very popular. And just regular shaped pipes, and lock them out for like 130, 140 quid. That kind of thing. I should really do that. I don't know if there's a market for that. I would have thought there is. And maybe I'll start doing that. Have like an economy range. I have thought about it in the past and kind of tried to come up with a name for that range, but I haven't really thought of anything. No, I'm not a fan of Burleys. I definitely separate out. I have 3 groups of pipes. I have aromatic pipes, Latakia pipes, and Virginia Perique pipes. Definitely got those 3 groups of pipes. All of my pipes are pretty much dedicated to those 3 groups. And I don't know that I've ever crossed those barriers between those 3 groups. I've been very rigid about that for some reason. Hey Claude, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Still got the Cupid's Rose, still available. Got beautiful bird's eye. Just a gorgeous pipe. Very easy to hold. Still available. Feeling a lot better, Claude, thank you. There are a series of Canadians, long K Woody Canadians, which were part of a collection by, he was called, what was he known as? Canadian Man? Was it Tony Soderman, who had a big collection of K Woodies? Yeah, David, it was very scary for me. It really was a frightening experience. It wasn't a case of COVID getting so bad that I had issues with breathing. It was just mucus which had stuck in my throat and it blocked my windpipe. I didn't have breathing issues as such, thankfully, and this time and last time I didn't have any lung issues and made that never happen. But it was just stuff which I'd brought up, it was so sticky and viscous, and it had stuck in and it wouldn't shift, and I couldn't breathe. So that was the problem then. I once had a Camoys Arrow, I think it was called. It was a pot-shaped pipe. It was in the days before I smoked filtered pipes, and it was unsmoked, an old pipe, unsmoked. And I remember I traded it with somebody, and I regretted it. But there you go. You can't always win them all. I haven't really regretted passing on a lot of my pipes. I mean, I've passed on more pipes than I've got. Any of you guys who have known me for long enough will have seen the amount of pipes that have gone through my hands. Hundreds, literally hundreds. And some of them I haven't even tried smoking. A lot of times I'll buy them with having in mind that maybe I'll smoke them, but probably I'll sell them. But I was just about to say, go through some of those bull moose. Some of them were really, cheers John, have a good one, were tough. I mean, I had a 7-day set from Northern Briars, which were made up of the Premier line, the smooth pipes, and they were all made in this fashion. This is my birthday Quebec, and this one he managed to convert because the shank was thick enough. It's the only one I've got left now. I had 7-day set, and some of them were stunning. One of them was a hexagon shaped, a panelled pipe, it wasn't a hexagon, it was panelled. And I just kept on to that one because I just didn't want to sell it. In the end I sold it, and he said that he couldn't convert it, the shank was too thin. But some of those pipes were absolutely stunning, and so that was a big shame for me to have to let those go. I've had some pipes which now would be worth a lot more than they were at the time. I've had some Biftech pipes, 2 or 3 of his pipes. Some of them were stunning grain, but I had a huge cull when I went to filtered pipes. A lot of the time it didn't even occur to me to convert them at that stage. And I got rid of a huge amount of pipes at that point. One of the pipes which I would have liked to have had back was a Jake Hackett, one of his regular billiards, but there was just a few features on that which I liked. It had a boxwood band, and it had his tree bark rustication, and it just was one of those which was just, it clicked. It just looked beautiful, and I would think nowadays it would be relatively easy to convert because they're quite thick, the shanks on his pipes. There was a Soren Refberg pipe, a bent billiard with an oval shank. That was my favourite Northwoods pipe, and I think to this day I had my best ever smoke of Northwoods in that pipe, and I can still remember the day. And it was when I used to do my morning drives every day, that place that I used to drive to, I remember it was literally round the corner as I was arriving, but I didn't want it to stop, and I parked up and I didn't carry on till I finished that bowl. It was just bliss. It was one of those utopian bowls of tobacco. It's a really cool looking rustication, although some of his pipes, the walls have to be pretty thin by the time he's finished on the smaller pipes that he does that to. Yeah, the elusive Nirvana smoke. That was one of those smokes. I have to be honest, I don't have them that often because I'm usually working or doing something else, and many times it will be in the car, because in the car I can't do anything else other than drive, and usually I'll have a coffee on the go, and especially Latakia blends, they just seem to go so well with a white coffee. And oftentimes it will be a Latakia blend that gives me a great smoke, more so than Virginia blends sometimes. They seem to have that, if it's the right type of Latakia blend, it has that sort of mixture of savouriness, but with a sweetness as well, that fermented sweetness that you get with stuff like Northwoods or Special Latakia Flake. Special Latakia Flake as well has given me Nirvana smokes, but it's few and far between. They're always nice, nearly always nice, not always great, but they're nearly always nice. But sometimes you just get the most sublime smoke from Special Latakia Flake. Welcome back, Claude. Daniel, you always offer me stuff, and that's really generous of you, but it's not necessary at all. It's just not worth sending it over all the way across, and I don't want to risk having to pay the taxes and all that kind of stuff. I appreciate it very much. It's very, very nice of you, but keep it, smoke it. Full Virginia Flake. I've actually got, and I have a couple of tins in my cellar, but I have actually got, a while ago, I managed to nab a box of Full Virginia Plug, which I didn't even know existed before I saw that box. So it's Full Virginia Flake, which hasn't been cut into flakes, basically. So it's basically a cake, this big slab of Full Virginia Flake. I haven't even opened it. I haven't even wanted to mess with it. I haven't really had a lot of success with cakes in the past. I don't really have any. I'd love to get one of those devices for cutting flakes. I saw somebody with one recently, a refurbished one. Can't remember who that was, but it looked really cool. Hey Philip, Sam, how you doing? I would love to get one of those flake cutters. I'd show it to you, but it's out in the garage still, that cake. Storming again. Full Virginia Flake and St James's. It's interesting that they'd have more plugs available. I wonder why that might be. I'd like to know why we can't get all it golden sliced here anymore, because it used to be for sale here. And I don't know if it's just that it's not worth their while importing it, or if it's because there's some issue with the ingredients. I'd like to know why. I asked the Sam at GQ Tobaccos, he didn't know why. Yeah, that's the one, Mark. It's whiskey. I think it's a red and white tin. The Celanis have different colours on their tins. I think it's red, if I'm not mistaken. I might do a little sort of re-jigging stuff around here in the workshop to try and create a bit more space. I might do that tomorrow. Ashton Liverpool, new church finish, loaded with Peter Stokerville luxury English. I haven't had an Ashton pipe for a long time. I had some Ashton pipes. I had a really nice calabash. That one I smoked. What was it called? It was a McClellan blend. Not Blue Mountain, Balkan Blue, same thing, but it was called Balkan Blue when I had it. And I think I'm getting a bit of a nicotine hit now, which is very, very rare, but it's because I haven't smoked in over a week. Yeah, that was unfiltered, so I had to let that one go as well. I really liked that pipe actually. Very, very nice pipe. They do occasionally do 9mm pipes, but I find their pipes are a little bit expensive retail. A half decent pipe is £300-400. Capstan Blue versus Yellow. I haven't had the yellow in a long, long time, so I don't know the answer to that. And I haven't smoked enough of the blue to really have an opinion either. I smoked a few bowls of it and then got COVID, so I have it here. This is the tin I opened of the ready rubbed, so it's ready for me to test out. And I've got a few more tins which came in, which I don't know where they are. I just bought, where are they? Yeah, so I've got 2 more tins of the ready rubbed and 1 tin of the flake. So my head's really gone a bit funny now. Bending down there's made it worse. Hey Oscar. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Even from smoking it, Andrew. It's a rich Virginia even now, but I can imagine it would be excellent with age on it. It had a very, very rich aroma when I opened the can. When I opened the tin the first time, that kind of ebbed and went away. But even now, when I don't have my sense of smell properly, I can smell there's a fruitiness there. Escudo, I've not really. All the best, Claude. Thank you for joining. I've not really enjoyed Escudo. Maybe I need to try some older stuff. The ones that I've tried have been a little bit too savoury for me. Three Nuns, the original Three Nuns, I had a tin of that a long time ago, which I enjoyed, but the stuff later on I found a little bit too full for me. I mean, it's nice flavours, but it was just more than I wanted in a daily smoke. You know, it's okay as an occasional smoke. I do find that any of the blends nowadays that have got any popularity, they're just so hard to get. You know, even Escudo, which isn't particularly, it shouldn't be a hard to get blend. I mean, it's not an Esoterica or something like that. They just, um, everything becomes scarce. Everything is snatched up immediately, you know. Four Noggins is expensive, and I don't usually buy from them, I must be honest. But the price on those cigars, and I wanted to try that tobacco, the shipping I think was $28. So it was still a very good price for anybody here in the UK to get 10 cigars for about £5.50 each is just ridiculous. So even if you add in the extra shipping, the whole thing came to like $100. It was less, it must have been a bit less. I don't remember what the tobacco cost. Must have been about $20. My head's going round. I don't know if it's the tobacco or if I'm just feeling a bit dodgy. So I'm going to call it a night, folks. My head is really doing the loop at the moment. So I'm going to say thank you. Thank you, McPhil. Thank you, Bull Moose. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Mike Blocker. Thank you, Mark, Welsh Piper, AZ Hawk, Andrew Sorigliano, Bull Moose Piper, Boris, Oscar Flores, Andrew, I've said you, Daniel Leslie, Phil Rivara, Sam Online, Boris the Piper, and David Rockensteady, Patrick Grant, and everybody else, Jeremy Viz. I'm going to wish you all well. Thanks very much for joining. I'll catch you on the next one.